Next up, Tom Barkley is reporting that Spurs are still sorting out Roberto De Zerbi's backroom staff, though it is understood that it will not include Alessandro Nesta, despite the speculation. So it looks like he's not going to be joining Spurs.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a few names in the offing which haven't been reported yet. Obviously, Sandro's been reported, but I don't know if he's actually going to be a part of the coaching staff, because he's in London at the moment, but he seems to be on every podcast, left, right and centre. And
there was a report saying that he's actually meeting with De Zerbi within 24 hours of landing in London. So I don't know how true that is.
There's something to it. But it's a shame, because Nesta, in terms of Nesta, because he's obviously a player that garners a lot of respect. But as I said, he was a terrible manager. So whether he's actually a good coach, I don't really know. There are sometimes good players and not good coaches, but yeah.
Yeah, look, who knows? Just because you're not a good manager doesn't mean you're not a good coach.
Yeah.
So that's that. Next up, well, the thing is, though, it's just the name, isn't it? The name and what he can give to the centre-backs at this football club.
He immediately garners respect from, Romero, Van der Ven, the main players in the squad. You look at someone who's been a World Cup winner, multi-Serie A winner. You look at that and you think, wow, that's the kind of guy you can respect, isn't it? And you'll listen to what he's saying immediately. Yeah. So that's fine, but still, coaching comes from talent more than knowledge, in a way. Knowledge is great, but it's all about communication, getting the message across to the players and stuff. Who was it? There was a player, I can't remember, was it Hoddle? Or maybe it was Thierry Henry. I read a lot of reports. Obviously, he was a phenomenal player, Thierry Henry. But there's a lot of reports saying that he used to get frustrated when he was trying to manage players because they couldn't do what he used to do. And you say, you get the ball, you do this, you jump past goal plays, you score, put slit top corner. He's trying to implement tactics as if everyone's as good as him, and then get frustrated when people aren't able to do it, right? So I'm not saying Nesta's like that. I'm just saying, my point being, not always the best players make great coaches, even though they played at a very, very high level for a long time. Yeah,
but also not the greatest coaches make good managers as well. So we've seen good coaches try and become managers, and that hasn't really worked out for them.
Absolutely right. There's been a lot of coaches who've tried to make the step up to be a manager, and it hasn't worked. And they've always been good number twos. I remember, who was it? I think David Moyes had.
Isn't Steve Holland one of them? Didn't he try
Yeah, he was being a number two for a while, and then he's tried to make the step up to number one and wasn't good. I think David Moyes.
Carlos Queiroz.
Yeah. Moyes had an assistant, I think Alan Irvine. He was his assistant for many, many years, and he tried to make the step up and just wasn't good. Yeah, but he was a very good assistant. There's been a few examples.
All right, let's move on and let's talk about Mohammed Kudus. We've seen you, Nina Chow, in the comments. You're gagging for a Kudus update.
Come on.
It says Paul O'Keefe is saying that Kudus is supposed to be back for Tottenham's clash against Sunderland next Sunday. He didn't say that. I find it highly unlikely it will be from a starting role, probably from the bench. But if we can get Kudus back in that squad next weekend, that is going to be a major plus for us. And I think, the stats of the results that we were getting pre-Kudus and post-Kudus,
yeah,
it's just eye-watering. Like we need to get him back in the team.
Eye-watering in a bad way.
Yeah. Eye-watering because it made you cry.
Yeah. I would. Yeah. I think Kudus is such an important player, and I think Zerbi is going to love Kudus. We already know that he wanted Kudus when he was at Brighton. There's been reports, so. Definitely, I think it's very important we get Kudus back. Look, we'll see whether he's ready to start or not. Maybe he'll get half an hour. Maybe he'll start an early player now and have to come off. It all depends when he's back in training, first team training, when he's back on the grass, blah, blah, blah. How ready he is. Obviously, he's been out for 3 months, so you do want to be careful with him. And we've obviously rushed players back before, and it's been a problem, hasn't it? So you don't want to put too much pressure on him. But we need him right now. That's the reality. We are desperate for him. If this is, let's be honest, if this was Harry Kane, he'd probably go straight back into the starting 11, doesn't he? So if you look at it from that lens, maybe he would start. But we'll see. We'll see what happens when he's back fit, and if he's back in training. And obviously, De Zerbi will confirm it in his first press conference next week.
Yeah.
But he's such a vital player. I think he's really perfect player for De Zerbi as well.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, De Zerbi thinks actually tried to sign him.
Yeah, so I mean, vitally important. But last but not least, a bit of a transfer speculation from Court Offside saying that Tottenham have explored a move for Gabriel Sara, who's open to a move to the Premier League. Galatasaray would be open to selling the Brazilian midfielder for around 45 million euros this summer. Obviously, he's a player that had a lot of appearances for Norwich down in the Championship after getting Team of the Year, and I think he got like over 30 goal contributions that season for Norwich. He ended up moving to Galatasaray, and yeah, I think he's been decent for Galatasaray. But he's one of these players that can play 10, 6, 8. He's had time on the right wing, the left wing, right midfield, right back, left. Like, he's literally played everywhere, this guy.
Yeah, I think all transfer talk has to be surely delayed until De Zerbi's had time to look at the squad. Like, there's no point talking about transfers when De Zerbi hasn't managed the game. So, also, I think if you're telling me he's a central midfielder who can play 8, and we have enough of those, don't we? Right now, I don't know if we need another one.
Depends how good he is on the ball.
Depends how good he is. Unless we are looking at transfers, and that would tell me that De Zerbi isn't getting the control that he wants already. So I don't think it's true. I don't think we're looking at
De Zerbi's
right
been
now.
in a couple of days. He's not drawing up his transfer list already. We heard he's already spoken to the hierarchy about what players he wants in.
No, I doubt that.
You never know. We were talking about him wanting Locatelli yesterday.
Yeah, true. I think Locatelli, I think that's an obvious one, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that is an obvious one. But look, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories that we have spoken about today.